Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs. We are thrilled to death that you are listening to our show.
Yes.
We've got a super fun one because we've got some good friends here.
Yes.
People that hopefully you feel like you maybe even know by now. Joining us over the phone is, calling from the United States is...
Hex from the Whiskey Daredevils and Devil's Angels.
Yes, my pal Hex, also a great supporter of our show. And we also have calling from the UK...
Hello, people. Joe from Hello Sailor Effects here.
All right.
Hello, Sailor.
That's Tony's favorite thing. Joe's edging up on, he's getting close to gold jacket certification.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
I know, yeah.
Which doesn't exist, but your certification anyways.
I feel like it's a golden fez.
Well, to be fair, we did make a golden fez for Jeff.
Schroeder.
Yeah, he's beaten me by a few though, isn't he?
A couple, yeah, but you're not far behind. You're not far behind. And no, people, we're not running out of guests. No, we're not just we don't know who to talk to. We've got reasons that we talk to people, and some of them are just because, doggone it, we want to talk to them. How about that?
Yes. And we favor ones with British accents.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Or German.
We get extra entertainment points for that.
It's like just with the accent, it's just like Joe sounds like a TV host. And then over here, I'm like, whatever. And Joe is so like chippy and proper.
Yes.
That's the first time I've ever been called proper in my life.
Very posh.
Yeah, you have to use your posh voice today, Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This whole Liverpudlian sailor bit is a ruse. We know that you're Edwardian to the core. Okay, guys. Well, we are going to have a great time. Joe's got a lot of stuff to share with us. He's had some very exciting things happening. And Heck, we brought Hex on because, as it happens in the guitar community, I know many of you have experienced this, where you connect with somebody, you make a connection, you tell somebody else about oh man, I got connected with this person who's doing this rad thing. Oh, connect me. And then that happens. And then people make friendships out of things. It isn't just, I would like to buy your pedal or your guitar or your amp, or I went to see you play nice.
Yeah.
You play real good.
Yeah.
Boy, I like the way you play real good.
Actually, my favorite ones are the ones that hover the pedal board and they're like, "Oh, I got that. And I just like, well, good for you, dude."
Yeah.
I'm that guy. I'm not annoying guys.
All right. Well, we've got, as per usual, we've got a few announcements we're going to wade through really quick. And then we're going to jump on with the rest of the biznaz.
All right.
First and foremost, we've got a very exciting thing. We're going to, by the time you're hearing this, we will have given away said pedal.
What is the said pedal?
Well, the said, I haven't said it yet, so that's not really proper.
That is not good. That's bad. Say the pedal.
Yes. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Joe, if you haven't listened to Professor Elemental, you need to.
Professor Elemental.
Professor Elemental you got to look up fighting trousers, and I can't remember the one about tea. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
I still haven't got past the Liam Gallagher album that you sent me. Honestly, I've had that thing on repeat.
That's fantastic.
Oh, wow.
What? It's taking me back to the 90s pretty much.
Yeah. Well, this one won't. This is totally different stuff. But anyways, so we are giving away the OCE, and this is the hardware series, the Hammer Fuzz. Now, but with a name like the Hammer, you know it's going to be probably a little heavier. So this is going to be exciting. We are giving this away to Anthony Gemolero.
Anthony Gemolero.
That's correct. A great supporter of our show. We insist on making sure that our giveaways go to the patrons of our show, the ones who support us, and the ones who actually support all the builders out there too. That we know that they do.
I'm told there are going to be some more giveaways.
There's a lot. I have a stack of them right now. But this is a general announcement to builders and whomever. If you want to get stuff into the people's hands who support the guitar community, support the builders, and support our show, please connect with me, and I will make sure that happens.
Nice.
Okay. Also, I wanted to share. We got, as we like to do, we get notes in from new listeners, and this one was just a quick one from Pedro Vasquez, a recent Grand Poobah. He wanted to share his gear. He plays a Les Paul 60 Standard, and he's doing that through a Katana MK2 100 watt amp. His favorite pedals right now are the Empress Menace, the Champion Lecky Skitsy. It's a friend of yours, I think, Joe.
I love that pedal.
And the Fuzz Imp Creature and the VVCO SRV. The VVCO. What is a VVCO? VVCO SRV. Well, anyways, we'll have to look that up.
I'm guessing Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I know what the Stevie Ray Vaughan is. Yes, thank you. Anyways, he says he's been listening for about 5 months, so he's a relatively new listener. We love that.
Yeah.
I wanted to support your show because I really like what you're doing. I've wanted to get good recommendations for a while. Well, Pedro, you're in the right place. I guarantee that.
You know what's the best thing about having new listener like that?
Tell me.
They haven't heard all the bad episodes.
That is true. Yes. Yeah, we encourage people to work backwards if they
But stop at a point.
Yeah, skip the first
anything under 50 sometimes could be a little under 30.
Under, let's keep it to 20.
The first
anything
20
under 10.
Okay.
I've got to say the SRV pedal you've just been saying is shaped like a can of Spam.
Interesting.
Who doesn't like Spam?
That looks insane.
I don't like Spam.
Why don't you like Spam?
It's disgusting.
Oh, it's the best.
Okay.
It's spicy and it's ham.
Yeah.
I am with you, Todd.
Yeah.
No spam.
It's gross.
Have you ever had good Hawaiian cooking that uses Spam?
No.
Because there's a lot of Spam in Hawaiian cooking because there were lots of rations left over after the war.
Yes.
And it became a staple in Hawaiian cooking.
Yes.
You
I'm
learn
familiar
something new
with
every
that.
day.
But I just haven't had it because I don't want it.
I'm going to cook you some.
Don't cook me any. Okay. I also, in all seriousness, and usually that's a setup for not being serious, but in this case it is being serious. I wanted just to take a brief moment, and I want everyone who's listening to know that I'm talking directly to you. Okay.
Touch the screen if you can.
Touch the screen if you can. But legitimately, wherever you are, whoever you are, and you're listening right now, I am truly so glad that you have connected with our show. I hope that you are getting everything out of it that you want, and I'm really thankful that you are listening to us and part of the greater guitar community. And thank you so much for supporting the builders on the show and just continuing to listen and connect with us. So thank you. Okay.
Ditto.
Yeah, ditto, says Tony. All right, guys. Well, let's find out what's going on in our music worlds this week. We're going to start off with Tanya, and then we'll dip over to Joe, and then Hex.
Okay, is that my cue?
That's your cue.
Let me get this up and running here.
I don't know how long you've been doing this.
Is this my first show?
Sounds like it.
Well, interestingly, I've kept my eye on Epiphone, specifically the Epiphone USA series.
Yes.
In the last, 2 or 3 years or so, Epiphone has
gotten quite a few models.
Well, they've released a number of really interesting USA made models. Now, I to be fair, I was always a fan of the Epiphone Elitist models, which were made in Japan, but final assembly in the USA.
Right.
I owned a number of those over the years. They're fantastic guitars. So if you find any Epiphone Elitist series that are made in Japan, buy them. Just buy them. These are, this new series is made in the USA, so alongside all of the other great Gibson products. And they had, up until recently, the typical, there were a couple of acoustic models and, of course, a casino. Why wouldn't you? But recently they released a late 50s version of an Epiphone Coronet. Now, the Coronet was like the cousin to the, like a Les Paul Jr., I guess you would say, because it was a single pickup. In this case, it was a double cut. And the originals, late 50s models, had what was called a New Yorker pickup. It was, a carryover from what Epiphone was making before Gibson took them over, or purchased them, I guess I should say. And out of all of the, most of this USA series, they are, anywhere from $35 to $45 and $100 and more. This one is coming in. The list on it is $16.99, which is, by standards for an American-made guitar, not too shabby. What they did wrong, it looks very much like the late 50s model with kind of an unusual guard. Most of the Coronets that people, I think, are used to seeing have kind of that butterfly-shaped guitar. This one is kind of like I guess you'd call it half a butterfly. But they put a P90 in it, which isn't a bad thing, but it's not historically accurate. So I've done a couple of projects lately on these, one of which our friend Curtis Novak makes a very good reproduction of the New Yorker pickup. And the problem with that is it is slightly smaller than the P90 opening, so you have to create a new guard that kind of covers up the extra space. And so I've done a number of those. I've done some other variations on this. I had one customer that wanted a butterfly-shaped guard for this guitar, which was relatively easy because it's a symmetrical body. And I think what's really cool is, guitars like this, $1,700 is still kind of a leap for a lot of people, but
that'd be a big leap.
Yeah.
But if you wanted something, because if you tried to buy a late 50s model, of course, you'd be a giant leap.
Oh, sure.
So this, if somebody really, really wanted something like that, it would make it a little more cost effective, even with changing out the pickup to, like say one of Curtis's. It gives you the look and feel, and it's an American-made version, which is kind of cool. So. Maybe in a couple of years, keep an eye on the used market, because they might be a little less expensive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If I had to guess. But I just thought I'd point that out. I think it's cool that Gibson is releasing a certain number of U.S.-made versions of Epiphones, which, I think is a great thing.
Yeah.
So kudos to Gibson.
I have a question for you, Tony.
Yes, X.
Is that purple Sparkle SG that is limited, that for some reason, Instagram knows all the stuff that I like, and it just keeps popping up on my feed. There's an Epiphone. Is that part of that same line or no?
I don't believe that it is, because they have a separate section for the Epiphone USA models, but they also do a limited edition run, and of course they have some artist models too. And I believe those are all made overseas. So. But yeah, I know the guitar you're talking about. It is pretty cool. It's right up Jared's alley.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. Hex, how about yourself?
Well, this actually was a pretty good week. Had a gig last night, had one tonight, but musically, I actually got to pick up an old guitar that our friend Chase Gullett, he actually took this guitar. It was a guitar that my wife had built for me for Christmas as a surprise. And there were some corners cut.
Yes,
in
not
the
by
build.
Chase, but the original builder.
The original builder, and it pretty much it was unplayable.
Yeah.
And Chase
All the
just
math
brought
was
it.
wrong on it. Everything was wrong on it.
Yeah, it was pretty much as a pine body that like cut into Telecaster shape, but then the neck is an aftermarket neck, and it just the calculations were completely off. And he made it right. And actually, I'm bringing it out for my gig tonight, and I can't wait to play it. So I am super happy, and my wife is happy that that money didn't go to waste.
Yeah.
She was pretty upset about that.
Yeah, well, because you didn't play it for, what, 6 years or something like that?
Yeah, I got it in 18, and I probably played it once live, and then I took it out of the case, and the neck pretty much looked like a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And the frets were not, they were put in crooked. It was just like, if you could do
The
a
neck
video of
pocket
what
was
not to,
a
yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
It was like somebody cut it out with a Dremel or something. It was just really bad.
Well, actually, even where that, I have a TV Jones Powertron in it, and even the pocket where the pickup sits is not, you can actually tell that he probably drill holes
Yeah.
and then
And
cut with
connect
a
the
drill
dots.
around it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things also is like the what do you say, the screws that are supposed to go into the neck basically just went through the body and were barely holding onto the neck. It's just like, I mean, there was a lot. When you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, this is fine. And then upon further inspection, everything that you should not, under any circumstance, get wrong was totally wrong.
Oh boy.
So yeah, Chase had to
Well, good job, Chase.
did a
Yeah.
You brought it back to life. That's the beauty of a really good repairman or person is they can take something many times that is unplayable, unwanted, and turn it into something. And I think there's a certain amount of energy in the guitar
I agree.
that appreciates that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like
it's a cool guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, it is legit a really cool guitar. It just wasn't
So
cool because you couldn't play.
what is it? Is it like is it a Telecaster?
Yes. It's like a Cabernet. It's like,
It's a
if
parts
you take
caster.
a Cabernita, yeah, it's a parts caster, but it's kind of like a Cabernita with a single pickup.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, single pickup, single volume, pine body.
Please tell me it's a snakehead headstock. Or is it the usual
3+3
um,
stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like I'm going like a snake. I don't like I couldn't even think about what that was.
I think it was Leo's original design, wasn't it?
Yeah, the
yeah.
prototypes. Yeah, in the late 40s.
Yeah, actually, if you look at it, it looks like a prototype. It's that because it's just like the pine body, and it's not nitro painting. What is it? It's like a rub that they use.
Oh, yeah.
It's a stain.
It's like a acrylic, almost. I mean, or maybe rattle can. There's a cool low fineness mixed with some really so like it's got a brass bridge and it's got it has a brass nut, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. It has a bone nut, but
nut.
it has like a brass volume knob.
Yeah, and a brass bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
man,
there's
that
all
sounds
these
right up my street.
details, and it's like it's off white, so it's not pure white.
Yeah.
All the things that when you go like, oh wait, this is a really cool guitar, are there stylistically. It just really was put together without just proper knowledge.
Poorly done.
Yeah.
It sounds like the telly I built, only mine actually intonated. Just
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one you couldn't do anything. It was like you can play
It
chords.
was a wall
in it.
hanger for sure.
Yeah, but past the fifth fret, you couldn't do anything. It was like that bad.
Oh,
Wow.
man,
but
that's horrific.
I'll send you a picture, Joe, because you're gonna. It's a cool freaking guitar.
Yeah.
It's so strange, but I feel like I'm gonna love it.
Yeah. All right, Joe. How about yourself?
Oh man, where to start? Well, I took receipt of my gold top that I've been waiting for a year. I don't know if you've seen pictures of that. So it's basically a 54 clone with the open book headstock, but it says Hello Sailor on the headstock. Of course it does. Basically, how it come about is I went to the Brighton Guitar Show. I just sold a few guitars. The telly I just alluded to, I just sold. And by the way, if the owner of that telly is listening, please get in touch and sell me it back. I miss it. But yeah, well, I should have never sold it. So I bought the body from Ukraine before the war kicked off, and it was shipped to me. And then it arrived at home the day I was going back to work and we were going to sea. And I actually escorted a couple of the ships, one that got sunk, while I was finishing this body that came from Ukraine in the first place. I should have never sold it. It's just, But anyway, I sold that and I had a bit of money in my pocket and I wanted a Les Paul. And I bought this one-of-a-kind handmade replica that a guy in Portsmouth had made in his flat, oddly enough. And it was so good. I said to the guy selling it, please tell me who he is. I need to speak to him. So the guy said, no problem, pass me his details. And I become friends with him and ended up ordering this gold top a year ago. And it's basically wraparound bridge, humbucker in the bridge, P90 in the neck, Brazilian rosewood fretboard that I sourced out myself. The body and the neck, I actually picked the wood from piles of wood in his flat. It's so strange. The guy basically builds in his flat with his kids running around, and he won't. Honestly, it's mental. He's like such an amazing luthier. He clones, even the carve on the top is like down to the exact micrometer reading of a 54.
Wow.
But yeah, I weighed in, no weight relief, weighed in at 7.7 pounds, which is insane.
Yeah, that's respectable.
Wow.
Well, I was posting pictures of it during the build process, and I don't know if you guys have heard the Sunbear pickups. So Stuart from Sunbear got in touch and said, mate, I would love to send you a set of pickups for this. And he just sent me a random set of pickups, and they're fantastic. Yeah, it's just a weird, strange, crazy guitar.
So that's cool. So you ordered it a year ago and you just got it? Is that what you're, yeah?
Yeah, well, I got it like 2 weeks ago. Okay. And of course, I instantly stripped everything off the guitar, started my camera and filmed myself beating it up and aging it and posted it on the internet. So expect it all on myself, change everything on it straight away.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's cool. So you didn't send the Sunbear pickups to him. You installed those yourself.
Yeah. So I'd already bought like a set of Seymour Duncan, like a staple P90 for the neck and whatnot. But it even went as far as cloning the neck on my 1960 Melody Maker, because I'm in love with that guitar. Yeah, he cloned that neck, and it was just a really cool process. And I haven't been able to put it down. Usually what happens is I buy a guitar, I love it, I bring it home, I play it acoustically next to my Gibson, and then I sell it. But this one's holding its own.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's now what color is that?
Gold top.
It's solid gold all over. So we sourced out the
gold
original.
top. I'm sorry, I missed that. My bad.
Is it gold on the back too, or is it brown back?
Gold on the back too.
Oh, that's very.
He sourced out the original copper flake paint that Gibson used in the 50s,
Mm-hmm.
so it'll go green. It's just an amazing guitar. Like, he went to so much trouble with the details. It's split parallelogram inlays as well. I absolutely had to have that.
Ooh, I like that.
So I don't know if you guys remember back in 2008. 2008? Yeah, 2008. Gibson did like a guitar of the month.
Yes.
Do you remember them?
Oh yes.
So I had the LP295.
I did the pick guards on those.
Oh really?
Yep.
Oh, no way. I love that guitar. I should never have sold that thing, but another one that I've loved and lost. But I really gassed after that since I sold it, and this is kind of my hark back to that ish.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, that's really fun. Tony, you just dropped a little bit of knowledge I don't think any people know. Can you explain that?
Oh yeah. So when was this? Back in 2018 or something? 2017, 18? I forget when. Several years ago. I had gone on a tour of Gibson, and we got to talking about, because at that time I think they had a guitar of the week, and then they changed that to the guitar of the month or something like that. And they had several prototypes there that they were considering, and I've always thought, like an ES 295 looks like a big hollow body version of a Les Paul. And the big difference is, it's a gold top, and it's got like a floral design on the pickguard. And so I kind of pitched him on this. I said, well, why don't you take a Les Paul gold top, and we could do a kind of reduced size of the graphic on the guard. And they said, well, why don't you can you make us a couple of samples? So I said, sure, I'll do that. And I ended up sending them a couple down, and they said, how soon can you make 1,200 of these?
Wow.
It's like, well, at that point, I really didn't do a lot of, large scale projects like that. But yeah, as part of the deal, I got one of the guitars, and
you never brought that in.
I sold it.
Oh,
Much like Joe. I know. I mean, it was I did okay on that one. But I still have, if at some point, Joe, if you're interested, let me know. I still have some of the cut vinyl that I used on that series, and we can do a custom guard for you.
Oh, no way. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Just let me know.
I'm in.
Awesome.
I can't believe you come up with the whole concept for one of my very first Gibson guitars.
Yeah, well, I wanted them to use P90s on it, because that's what it would have been in a ES 395. Yeah. And it had a Bigsby on it, which I thought was kind of cool. And
didn't sound true, no.
They said, well, our humbucker guitars outsell P90 guitars like 5-1, so we're gonna put
that makes sense.
Humbuckers on it, which is fine. But
I'd be interested to know if that's still the case, because I think after people like James Nichols and whatnot playing P90s, and Joey Landreth. When he first got his gold top, it was a P91.
Mike Ness,
I feel like they'd come back.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. I mean, and I generally prefer P90s over humbuckers in a lot of cases. Some people can't live with the noise, but there are some good noiseless options now too.
I think the noise is half the fun, man.
Exactly that. The volume knob when you're not playing, just turn it on.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Well, as for me...
Oh, how about you, Todd?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Man, I had one heck of a fantastic guitar week, I have to say, because...
Do tell.
Well, it started off... I've been investing... I keep running into these issues where I feel like I'm trying to make lots of pedals make a sound that maybe I should look at the root issue for, which could be the amp. Now, I have the Marshall Origin 50, and I've been playing out of that for some time now. And I've done loads of shows with that, and it sounds great. But I'm the sole guitar player in there, so I keep looking for this sort of like this missing overtone or missing extra bit.
Could be a missing undertone.
It could be a missing undertone. Now, most people say just get another guitar player. I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. But because the Marshall's so focused, it's like it's almost like linear in its delivery.
Now, what are you using the Supro at all?
No.
Okay, so that's just kind of in the back burner.
Yeah. The Supro sounds great. It's just it's a little bottom heavy, and it sounds rounder, I guess is a good way to put that.
Well, why not use both?
Well, I did experiment with that, but it just the Supro doesn't match up well with the Marshall, I didn't think. But And it was just like I couldn't look ridiculous having like, here's my 3 guitars and 2 amps set up, at a local show.
It's not that bad. You can pull it off.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
If I was closer, I will help you carry stuff.
Just come down to every gig.
Yes. But what I ended up doing, I started talking to my friends, including Hex, about the AC30. Now, historically, I have said, I'm not really friends with the Vox amp. I had an AC15 for a while, and it wasn't right for the music that I was playing at that time. But I've been to loads of Hex's shows, and I just like his guitar tone just is so great. And I mean, on top of that, he's a truly gifted player, which I imagine myself.
You've got one of those things.
Yes, I've got one. So,
Shucks.
yeah, it's true. Anyways, but everybody's like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're gonna have to hire a team of people to move that amp around. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. But then Rob chimed in. He said, who, by the way, is not here because. And I told him I would mention this. He literally has 50 amps that he's currently trying to repair.
Wow.
In his shop. 50.
That's awesome.
That's a great problem to have, but it means he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Which is tough. Anyways, he said, have you thought about checking out an AC30 S1, which is the single 12 speaker?
Yes.
It's not exactly like they just took a speaker out. What they did is they said, let's make a streamlined version.
They simplified it.
Yeah, they simplified the heck out of it. And I'm sure this is because they listened to several of the earlier podcasts where I was complaining about, like, why on earth do you have the control panel backwards?
Yes.
To how anyone is going to actually use that.
Yes.
And I think it was Tony, the one that told me the reason why, because they used to put
put
play
the amp in front
behind
of
the amp was in front.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was in the 1910s, and the big band era is over. So, it's mental. It's a ridiculous user experience.
Well, you could have put a mirror up on the wall, and
no, that's what I didn't do.
You know what? I had one. I think I told you this. I had one time a sound guy telling me, to turn down, and I'm like, I'm turning down. No, I was turning up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's backwards.
Because it is backwards.
Yeah.
And the other thing that confounds most non-Vox familiar guitarists is the cut.
Yeah.
The cut control.
Yeah. It's like a rat pedal. It's like, what? Why? What?
The cut control is a misnomer.
Yeah.
Because it's really more of a
boost.
It boosts more bottoms and mids and cuts the high end down a little bit. So
screwy.
So if it's not, if you're in the brilliant channel, well, if your amp has a brilliant channel, you can actually take out some of that, ear piercing high end.
Well, so also in the AC30, you have the 2 channels. You have a normal channel and a top boost channel. So there's 2 huge speakers. There's 2 channels, and in some cases, like Billy's got an amp here. It has 6 inputs.
Yeah.
So it was a lot for what most people don't need. Now, what they did with the AC30 S1 was they dropped that down to an on switch, a standby switch, a volume switch, a reverb, which they've got a digital reverb in it, which doesn't sound super great, but that's okay. And a low, a treble, a bass, a treble, and a gain. That's it.
There's no mid on that one?
There's no mid.
Okay.
No, pretty much what it is. Sorry,
I think there's no mid.
So it's just what they did was they just took the top boost channel and put it on an amp. That's what it is.
Yeah. Essentially, that's it without the cut control.
Yeah. The other difference that they did is that they spent. They said a lot of people complained that the AC30 didn't have on the top boost didn't have any good bottom end punch bottom end bass punch. I'm not saying that. That's what
I don't agree with that. But
okay.
Okay.
Those were things that they said. Hey, so we thought let's give that a little bit of a lift.
Yeah.
So, all in all, it's about maybe half the weight and much simpler. And I am really liking it right now.
And that one has what speaker was in that one? I think
That's
you
a
showed me.
Celestion. It's called a Celestion VX12, I think. VX12.
Okay. So it's
Yeah, if
more along the lines of a greenback or a creamback, probably.
Yeah, pretty much. If you go on the website, because I have one of those, it's like the way they describe it is just like they wanted a speaker that was a single speaker, but it sounded like two.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that can actually happen, but that's the selling point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it kind of looks, I mean, if you're looking at it, it looks like a lot of I think it's the G12s that come in, or is it the G12s? Yeah, I think the G12s are the 7080s. It's a 7080 speaker.
You got
That's
me.
the Celestion ones that come in like just the standard like Marshall boxes of like if you're buying an extension cab or something like
Right.
that, they kind of typically come in that.
Right.
So then I said, Tony's like, well, first thing you got to do is replace the speaker. And
Well,
having never heard it.
I don't need to hear it. I can tell you, replace the speaker. Well, and the reason why is years ago I had a Vox AC30 CC1,
Yeah.
which was the Chinese-made
Right.
112, and it had one of those neodymium
Yeah.
speakers, which was
The single C is what is more accepted, if I'm correct, as opposed to the CC, right?
no CC2 was the two speaker. The CC1 was
No,
the
I
one
just
speaker.
mean there's a C1 out there as well. They're not all CCs.
I thought they were all CCs.
I thought they were all CCs too. 'Cause
Okay.
I think the numbers, it also reflects on the kind of speaker. Because I think the one has greenbacks, and I have the two, and it has the blue Alnico speaker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you are right. Yeah. So I am not a fan of the neodymium speakers. I just don't
There's a
like the way they
C2.
sound. There's a C2.
Yep, and
Okay.
and a CC. Yeah,
Is that a 15 or a 30?
it is it's a 30-watt 2x12
Okay.
combo. Yeah.
And I think that the I think the 15s, they do the C1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I think it's a single C because I think the C's is just for the speaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, so I had one of those, and I thought that's what we were dealing with. But now this S1 does come with probably a more decent speaker. But I think you would really, if you want a true Voxy tone, I think you have to go with an Alnico speaker.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing as he was describing the amp. I was thinking, I wonder if he's put an Alnico in it yet.
I started looking into that. I mean, it's just, man, those things are expensive. They're so expensive.
It's a couple $100.
It's a $250 for a single speaker.
Well,
And
is
that's
that the reason-
WGS.
And
Yeah.
that's the reason why when you have the option of getting either the greenbacks or the blue Alnicos, the blue Alnico one is more expensive than the greenback
Yeah,
one.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm not saying I
man,
won't.
you-
I'm going to try to find something. But in the meantime, I'll have to do with what I have.
Well, Todd, the AC30 that you heard me play through, that has blue Alnicos on it.
Yeah.
That's the sound.
And I can tell the difference between the greenbacks because my friend Thomas has one with greenbacks. And I have greenbacks on my AC15.
Yeah.
And it's like the greenback just has kind of more of that Marshall-y bottom end.
Yeah.
The blue Alnicos, they're more mid-range focused. That's why, like, sometimes, with overdrives, he just has that growl.
Yeah.
And it's the blue speaker.
Yeah. I'm going to look into that. WGS has a speaker called the Blackhawk HP, which is a higher watt. I think it's a 60-watt Alnico speaker. And, I mean, those are $239. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually, I think it'd be cool to do some sound tests with like a couple different speakers. So I'm going to actually reach out to them and see if they...
Take one of those fanes out of your Sound City.
Oh, yeah. I could do that. Oh, and I also have the old PV with the the old veins. I think there's veins in there too.
Black Shadow, is it? Black Shadow speaking?
It's
No,
it's the old
Widow.
deuce. It's the old deuce. Anyways, I played through that before, and the speakers sound fantastic in that. I legit, I was like, oh wow, what's this? Anyways, all kinds of good stuff there.
That's cool. That. I think you'll grow to enjoy that lamp. That
Yes.
amp, and that one also has a effects loop, right?
It has an effects loop,
Yeah.
which is. So here's the other part of that. I plugged in my board, and immediately it was just, and I was like, oh no, what have I done? What's going on? And I unplugged every pedal that I thought it could be. And then I said, wait a minute, because I had just put the line 6 back on the board. The
doesn't
line
play with
6 into the front of that thing, it doesn't work. It just flat out doesn't work. So I ran it through the effects loop, and it was quiet as a mouse.
Huh.
So now I get a complication with that if I want to do that. Now Rob was saying, especially like in an with your time and space kind of pedals, like definitely put them through the effects loop. But everybody that I've ever talked to, and I haven't had a problem running that through the front of the Marshall. At least I don't feel it sounds like a problem.
Huh.
And the thing that I kind of didn't like about it is that I felt like I was playing my drive stuff, and there was like a different amp that was sending the sound of the time. They didn't feel connected, and that was really throwing me off.
Well, I mean, there is a couple millisecond delays between if you're using the loop versus going into the front end.
It was a weird experience. I was like, I don't know if I like this. So, ugh. Anyhow,
All right, I'll give you $100 for it right now, cash money.
yeah, exactly. So I'd be
We're
curious.
gonna be standing in line because I wouldn't mind having another one.
Yeah, and I did get it for a crazy good price. So that's kind of what pushed me over the edge of that, because I don't have a lot of. I actually, believe it or not, people, I'm not loaded, and I don't have a lot of cash to throw around for guitar stuff. So I have to sell a couple other things to make up for that. But
Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
But on a side note, I actually got to be present while Todd was trying the amp.
oh yeah,
And
you helped me
I
out
ca-
big time with that.
Yeah, and I kind of like put him kind of like on the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And it's just like I always set up my box amps like bass and treble at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
And depending on the room, I can actually, I might need more treble. I might need, but
You
for
can go
some
up and down
reason-
from that if that's your
Yeah,
starting
it
point.
just-
Yeah.
And I think like the on yours it actually says gain, but on a typical top boost circuit it just says volume.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much it's the same. It works exactly the same way, and we kind of I got it into just like that Goldilocks spot.
Yeah.
Where it's just it's a clean sound, but it has some hair on it a little bit, and then you can stack your overdrives over that, and it makes a difference. Like if you grab that gain and you pull it all the way up.
Oh boy.
And turn the master volume down. Yeah, it's like a Marshall. It's just straight distortion.
yeah.
It sounds, but oh man, that sounds good.
So where on this amp, where was the sweet spot? Was it around noon or was it?
No, these were, and what was interesting is the volume and the gain kind of, as long as you kept them in basically the, so if like you had the volume on 2,
So that's your master volume.
master volume on 2 and a gain on 2, it was great because you had the headroom. I want to be able to use my pedals for
Right.
the gain. Even though that Vox, the gain sounds fantastic on it, it's not. I need it a little bit more focused. It's a little too bloomy, and so and with that thinking, if you went to 3, you probably could pump the gain up a little bit if you needed more just sheer volume, because the volume on that doesn't necessarily raise all the volume. It kind of it's a tricky twin.
See, now I've always if like my 15 has a bypass for the master, but if I have an amp that doesn't, I always turn my master full up and then use the gain to control the overall volume.
Yeah, the gain is where like the real sound of the amp and the body come in.
Yes.
I mean, it's unmistakable. If you start turning it, like, oh, there it is. And it really does have like punch. Like it rumbles. I was excited to hear like that. It was pushing a lot of air. It was great.
Hex, on your 30s, do you use the master or?
Yes. So pretty much, I usually set up the master, like if you're looking at it, from behind the amp, it's like about 10 o'clock, and my top boost volume or gain is actually set up between 7 and 8.
Okay.
Because I like my clean sound pretty much has, like I was saying, it just has like a little bit dirt on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I do is just like I just take like an overdrive pedal, and instead of using the gain of the pedal, I set it up in a way that is just pushing the amp harder. So it's like it doesn't change the tone. It just adds a little bit more overdrive, but I'm not cranking the overdrive on the pedal. I'm just pushing the amp more with the pedal.
Yeah. And in fairness, he plays cleaner stuff. So
have you ever thought about using an overdrive to clean the amp up? If you like the amp's overdrive sound, you could set it so then you've got your lead tone on the amp, and then use something like a SD1 and set the gain and the volume low. So when you step on the SD1, you get your clean sound. And then when you step off it, you get your amp at full tilt.
Huh.
I don't know that I've thought of that way.
And I've seen people do it. I've seen a lot of people use that with Marshalls too.
Yeah.
Like they crank the gain, and then they use actually, for example, Noodle Betancourt uses a rat. That same purpose.
Exactly, yeah. Well, Andy Timmons does it with a blues driver, and he's got like unbelievable tone.
Yeah. Well, if you believe in science. Anyways, so yeah, that's fun times ahead for me.
Wow, we went into a mini Vox episode right there.
I mean, it is a mysterious world. It really is. So, anyways, thank goodness. Actually, this is a real, true, honest thank goodness. Because check this out.
What?
I had to connect just to see what a different speaker sounded like. I got the Marshall combo.
Yeah.
And I put it next to the Vox.
Yeah.
And I ran the extension or the external cabinet. Mm-hmm. I had to connect the external cabinet to the actual speaker in the Marshall.
Okay.
And I could have used a Tour Gear Designs patch cable for that.
Yes.
Because I have long enough ones to do it, but the cable is actually connected to the actual speaker in the Marshall. So all that is to say is potentially I could have used the Tour Gear Designs patch cable to solve this problem. And it would have been much easier because it's longer. I have one that's actually longer than the actual speaker connector to the Marshall. All that is to say there.
Hold on a second. You're telling me you used a patch cable to...
I couldn't, but because the cable was already connected to the speaker.
I'm going to stop you right there because never, ever, ever use an instrument cable as a speaker cable.
Yeah, I didn't. But what I'm saying is the length was long enough to do that if I wanted to.
No, I don't want you to do that.
I won't do it.
Please.
I won't. I promise I won't.
For the love of God, please.
I will not. However, I could have. And also, look, there's
I think what he's saying is, Tony, you ruined the segue there.
Yes. Yeah,
I've ruined his whole plan.
You absolutely did.
How about this, Todd?
Joe, you understand me.
Todd, you were talking about needing to use the effects loop.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be a better use of a Tour Gear Design patch cable to patch your pedal board in through the back of the effects loop?
Indeed. And actually, this is a real thing. I used a Tour Gear Designs patch cable, a long one. I think it was about 10 or 12 inches to go from the R2R treble boost that I put on top of the amp into the output. Yay, I saved it. See what I did there?
You done good.
Yeah, I'll just edit all that
Well
other
done,
stuff.
mate.
No, leave that in. That's important
I know,
stuff.
I will.
But no, speaking of Tour Gear Design patch cable.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Yes. And not using them as speaker cables.
Yes.
You can go over to tourgeardesigns.com
Yes.
and find all the links that you need. They have a C shape and an S shape, so you can connect side jacks to top jacks and all the good stuff like that. And load up your cart. You're going to love this stuff. They're flat cables, the little teeny tiny ends take up less space than you can ever imagine. And when you get to checkout, there's a thing that says coupon code. And you're going to put in there? The Guitar Knobs, all lowercase, all one word. And you're going to save 15%. That's 15% on an already reasonably priced product. You may go back after you see that and start loading more into your cart.
Indeed.
And do it.
Indeed.
It's good. It's a good thing to. It's the smart thing to do.
It is the smart thing to do. So thank you to Tour Gear Designs Patch Cables for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor. Tony?
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right. Joe Halliday of Hello, Sailor.
Hello.
Why don't you give us your fifth floor on the floor?
Oh, man. Right, so first, a bit of a weird one by Hawkins Designs. You've probably never heard of it, but it's the guys from the Band of Darkness.
Oh,
They
yeah.
released a dual pedal. So it's got both of their tones on, foot switchable lead. I absolutely love it. It's terrible. This sounds terrible, but it's terrible mixed with any other drive pedals because it does it all itself. It doesn't really play well with other pedals. But if you want something that goes from like crunch to lead and that's the only drive pedal on your board, it's fantastic. And the look of it's amazing as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever tried them out or seen them about.
No, I haven't, but we've tried. Actually, one of our supporters actually sent me a thing. Had Justin Hawkins do a direct message to me on Cameo, which like blew my.
Oh, that was so good.
It was so cool.
Oh, man.
And so
you cry?
What?
Did you cry?
Dude, I almost did. Like honestly, because it was like I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And but I did reach out to Hawkins to have him on the show. I would love to have him on the show. I mean, it'd be amazing. So talented.
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you watch his YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Genuinely, the guy's a genius.
Yeah, I would. If you ever connect with him for any reason, please let him know that I've been trying to get him on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So yes, it's got a giant octopus chasing a girl with ping pong paddles.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
mad.
legitimately, that actually is what it. I didn't make that up. It's amazing.
It does look like someone's been taking some illegal substances and then just let rip on the front of it. It's
Yes.
mad.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
It's pretty neato. Okay, so what's number 2? Oh, by the way, that pedal, if you want to order one, is $250. So there you go.
Which is not bad for
No.
a double overdrive.
Nope.
Yeah, and it started out as a limited edition, I think. So they must have been selling well. Yeah.
Number
So-
2.
Number 2 is going to be the Fat Machine from Static Effectors. Have you heard of them?
Static Effectors.
Yeah.
What's it
Yeah.
called?
The Fat Machine, but Fat is spelled PHAT.
Okay, Fat Machine. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fuzz.
Okay, no, I'm not. I'm not familiar with that. Okay, great. That's 2.
Oh, mate, honestly, this fuzz is amazing. If you want that blown out, fuzz facey, the Hendrix 5 silicon fuzz, this is the one you want. They've done it all hammered paint as well. They look amazing.
I believe you, but I have to say this in all good consciousness and legally have to say this. I don't know how it's going to beat the one that you already made.
I was just gonna say that.
But
that's very kind of you to say.
But I'm willing to put them to the test.
It's a different thing. So mine aims to be like more smooth. This is like definitely some rough.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to look into them. Maybe we can talk to them and get them on the show or something.
Oh, he's an interesting guy. Like, I've had plenty of conversations circuit wise with him. He's top notch. Like, definitely knows his stuff.
Good. Okay. Is he UK or is that in?
No. He's your side of the pond.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to look into that. Static effectors. All right.
Yeah.
And static effectors, if you're listening, hit me up. Okay. All right. What's number 3?
Number 3 is the MXR Dookie Drive. I don't know how many people have tried this. I think they do one without the artwork on called the FOD. Have you seen them?
Yes.
So I've got the original Dookie Drive. I'm a fan of Green Day, but it doesn't do the Green Day thing. It just does the Marshall in a box.
I was just gonna ask if it was related to Green Day.
So it is.
Yeah.
It basically they've come up with it's 2 parallel circuits, drive circuits together, and one is meat and whatever Billy's other amp is. The 2 Marshalls, and there's a blend control, so you can blend between them. It's just fantastic, and the artwork on the original Dookie Drive is amazing. I've still got it on my board. They're getting quite valuable now, I think.
Probably.
But they do, they do an FOD, which is just like sparkle paintwork for the people who hate Green Day. Don't know who that is, like, but there you go. Yeah, it's such a good pedal and so underrated. If people could get past the fact that it's a Green Day signature pedal, I think it'd be massive.
Interesting. I have not played one of those personally, but that is quite the endorsement.
Oh, you bang a treble booster into the front of that, especially the R2R, which is what I do. The R2R electric into the front of that.
Really?
Oh, my word. Yeah, I'm home.
Okay. All right. Number 4.
Number 4 actually made me create a whole new pedal board just to get this pedal on there and to make it work correctly. It's probably the most complex, innovative, amazing pedal I've ever played in my life. Check that out for an endorsement. It is, of course, the Polyverbs.
Oh, boy.
What? It's mind-blowing. I don't understand how. Loki, the guy who makes them, I don't understand how, but he's a genius. So it's basically a reverb pedal with analog drive-through that is stereo in and out, that you can record any space in the world by popping a balloon and recording it straight onto a USB and sticking it into the pedal itself. You can record any space. So already loaded onto it, you have things like the largest reverb unit in the world, Abbey Road Studio, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's insane, insanely good. And I redone my whole board so then I could have stereo in and stereo out, with it also mutable, so it goes to mono and whatever. It's unbelievable pedal.
Wow, and that's by Poly Effects.
Yeah, Poly Effects. So funny
it's a
story.
Beautiful pedal too.
Oh, it looks so good. Funny story, the guy Loki is very gracious, and he probably wouldn't go around telling people this, but I got the unit, made my pedal board, and I didn't test anything beforehand because it's me, and I never prepped anything before. I just spent hours making this pedal board, and it didn't work. And I went online, as you do, and a lot of the hate online saying the original version of the Polyverbs had some issues. And I thought, well, I ordered mine pretty early on. In fact, as soon as I'd seen the Anderton's video on it, before I'd finished watching, I'd already ordered it. And I was like, maybe I got one of the original ones that doesn't work. And so I messaged Loki. I said, look, I don't want to be rude, mate. I'm having a problem with this pedal. Could you help me out figuring it out? And he gave me some stuff to try. It was none of that. And then one day I was sat eating with my daughter, whatever, and daydreaming as you do. And I thought, I wonder if it's something inside the little switcher that I've made to go from from stereo to mono. I was like, nah, it can't be. And then when I took the switcher apart, instead of using switch jacks, I just used isolation jacks So when I was switching them on, it was just grounding out the signal. And so I had to go back to Loki and say, look, mate, I'm really sorry. Your pedal is amazing. It was me. Oh.
Eating a little humble pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah. And then there was a little picture that flashed up of Steve Buscemi with lipstick on his face, crossing out your name off of his wall.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what I tell you what, that was a difficult email to write, to say, look, mate, I did think about saying, do you know what, there was a problem with the pedal. I can't tell you what it is, but I fixed it. Yeah. I thought, nah, I just fess up.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's really cool. That's a neat, really, really neat pedal.
Oh, I'm in love with it. I literally rebuilt my whole pedal board just to get that on there. I was like, I need to make it work. So my whole pedal board is like is what you call it? It's not stereo. It's dual mono. So you have the drives and all the wet going into one amp, and then just the wet going into another amp.
Oh wow!
But this reverb is actually after all of that. So after that split, it then goes back into this reverb and splits again. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that is complicated, Joe.
Oh yeah, yeah. which is why I didn't assume it was my end that was broken. It had to be the pedal.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's a whole bunch of new stuff. That's really cool.
That's
I'm
great.
glad that was good stuff to share. We do have to, unfortunately, at this point in time, say goodbye to Hex. He has Hex has got quite a coif of hair, and he has to go tend to it.
Yes.
Tendril
by tendril.
Yes. He's got to maintain that dew while the dew he has.
Yes, it's like on a time schedule. It's just like every 2 weeks. It needs,
Yes.
It's like, well, Joe will actually understand. Like, I actually get my haircut every 2 weeks because one of my roommates when I lived in Texas was in the military, so he always had like the crop fade, and I just made it a tradition, just like every 2 weeks, and it's been like that for 15 years.
Wow.
It's a cardinal sin to have long hair, but I tell you what, the American boys that I've served with, I've never seen anyone so brutal over the regimen of getting their hair cut. It's insane, You guys out there. What's with the high and tight? We don't do that over here. We just have a normal haircut. For your boys, it's got to go right up there with the clippers,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I actually do my hair. It's just like that high. It's like, I think it's from like 0 all the way faded to I think like a 2.
Yeah.
So it's a science.
You got like a proper rockabilly style haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the proper coif.
Yes.
But before I leave, I just wanted to thanks Todd for introducing me to Joe, because I was never a fan of fuzz. I tried it, I liked it, but for some reason I could never make it work for me. And I tried the Abbey Road, and it was a life changer, to the point that is actually on the next album that I just got done recording. And even my record producer, he's like, that is the cleanest fuzz. And when I mean clean, it's not clean as in the sound. It's just like, if you literally just, all you have to do is just put your hand on the pickup and it's quiet. There's no like, like fuzzes are temperamental.
Yeah.
And, and even if you're not playing, you hear the hiss, and it's very recording friendly. It's a game changer. And through P90, it loves P90s, it loves Filtertrons, it loves humbuckers. I've actually tried it through one of my Telecasters with single coils, and it just sounds amazing. And,
that's very nice of you to say, mate.
And if you don't have one, if you're listening to this show, get it, because they don't only sound cool, they also look cool. Which,
they're all different.
One of the
that's the beautiful part.
They're all different, and the artwork is great. It's just like they sound as cool as they look.
Oh, thanks, mate. It's really weird because me and Hex have the same taste in just about everything. So I automatically know what he's going to like. Also, I've just sent you a range master in that last package, mate, on top of the pedal I fixed for you. I think you're going to love how it looks, but you'll also love how it sounds, because I do, and we have the same. It's so weird.
Oh man,
that's cool. Yeah, and
thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, mate.
All right, Hex. We'll talk with you later. All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take care.
See you, Hex.
See you later, mate.
Bye. Take care, brother. Bye.
Okay, now the adults can talk. No, I'm just I remember hearing that as a kid every once in a while. I was like, what does that mean? Anyways, now I know, by the way. Joe, you got some great news to share with us. We've had a great time just yapping about gear and stuff right now. We're going to continue that, but you're going to do the talking here because you got some great stuff to talk about.
Oh, some insane stuff going on right now. So firstly, I've done, this is an exclusive. So I took this new product out on the road with me to the Brighton Guitar Show last weekend and shown it to a few people. But officially, this is the first time anyone's hearing about it. I've teamed up with Vintage Guitars to bring a Paul Kossoff replica single cut guitar. That's going to come with one of my Kossoff pedals, and there's only going to be 10 of them. So they're 100% built in the UK, nitrocellulose lacquer, and it'll come with a pedal that's also finished in nitrocellulose lacquer. And I'm so excited about this guitar. Words can't even describe. And there's only going to be 10 of them. I've already sold one to myself, so there you go.
So there's 9.
Yeah, I couldn't not. I mean, come on. Vintage Guitars basically have been trying to get in touch with me for maybe 2 years. But every time they send an email, I get deployed. And it's only since I've been home more that a mutual friend put me in touch with their managing director. And we hit it off about this. And they seem to want to go into the, I hate to use the word quote unquote boutique. I was taking the mick out of myself with the boutique word. But they want to get into that market because they do a lot of mass produced stuff.
Yeah.
And they're starting to build some high-end guitars. And I want to obviously spread the word about Hello Sailor. Yeah. So it's kind of a match made in heaven. And they actually were meant to get this guitar to me maybe Christmas time. But Paul, the guy I'm in touch with at Vintage, Paul said this is actually the 3rd guitar they've made because they weren't happy with the first 2. So the prototype's with me now, and it got a great reception at the Brighton Guitar Show. And your listeners are the first to actually hear what it is.
Wow. That's super cool. I always appreciate any kind of exclusive news that we can share, especially because then our listeners get to hear it first, and not just me and Tony.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's probably heading towards the internet at this point. Can you tell us more about this? What's the finish? What are some of the specifics? How much are these going for? Where can people get them? Any of that stuff.
Okay, so for those who don't know, Vintage are actually part owned or part run by Trevor Wilkinson, who from Wilkinson Pickups and Parts and stuff. So all of the parts on it are Wilkinson Deluxe parts, the higher end stuff. Down to the pickups are the WVC nickel covered humbuckers. The bridges are Wilkinson's Tunematic, their higher end version. The body and the neck are mahogany, and the cap is maple. It does have a maple veneer, which isn't really my choice or my preferred choice, but my goal with this was to beat an Epiphone price, so the same sort of high-end Epiphone, and offer the fact that it's a limited edition and put a pedal in with it. So they actually sell for $11.99 UK. But everything else is, as you would imagine, a good single cut guitar. So 12-inch radius, scale length is 24.75 inches, 22 frets, 43 millimeter nut. It's got a graphite nut. I was thinking about bone, but that would add to the cost. Yeah, and the aging on it, let me tell you, each ding. I mean, I don't know how much you know about Paul's original guitar. It's living over your side of the pond now. And Chris, the guy who owns it, is an absolute legend. He owns one of the first Kossoff drives as well.
Wow.
So I've looked at this guitar for years and years and years. And when they sent me it, even the back of the neck has got the faux break, because Paul's original guitar was thrown at one point and the neck snapped off, and it had a new neck put out, or a new headstock put on. And they simulated all of that in the aging. Even the iconic scratches by the tailpiece are all on there. It's insane. And the people at the show that I showed and explained what it was to all said to me, "Why aren't you charging more money?"
Yeah.
That was the main thing I got told. What's wrong with this guitar, and why aren't you charging more money? And the simple reason is, I think that it's fairly priced and it beats Epiphone.
There you go.
So, I mean, this will be, by the time that this show goes live, pre-orders for these will be open on my website. So the first 5 are going to take approximately 12 weeks from now. And the pre-orders will take place where you could pay £100 deposit, and then that will secure your guitar as long as you've paid the balance within a 12-week period.
So let me just add a few notes to what we're talking about here. For ladies and gentlemen that are trying to convert that in their head, it's about $1,500 American, not counting shipping. So let's just make that clear. So with that in mind, these are going to go immediately, I would expect. I mean, you're going to have to jump on this real quick, everybody.
I think the goal from Vintage and myself was see how these go, and then maybe collaborate on other guitars or in the future.
Oh man,
so
I would be so happy for you
me.
if that just keeps extending. I mean, what an opportunity and an awesome idea to like do a pedal guitar combo, both with the boutique spirit. I think that's just an awesome idea.
And it gets so much better with it. I've got some other things to go on the case, like the hang tag is being designed by my buddy Eric over in Australia. He designed an original 50s Gibson hand tag for his guitar, tag, sorry. And so he's changed all of the text to be, vintage guitars by Hello Sailor and all the specs of this guitar on, but it's the original dimensions and font and everything that you can imagine in as much detail as you can imagine from someone who's obsessed. So that'll come with it as well, and they'll all be hand signed, certificated and whatnot. And for those who order early, I'll let you pick the serial number.
Now, Joe, what I want to make sure is that because this is going to be going, I'm going to make this live. I'm hoping to have it up Monday a.m. for all the commuters. Is the website going to be up by then?
Yeah, well, I've been holding off. I've been holding off posting it on the website until we got this episode recorded.
Brilliant.
So
okay. We'll stay in connection, but that's what I'm hoping for. I'll let you know by Sunday if there's any issues with that. I don't think that there will be. So if you're okay with that, then we can just plan for that.
Absolutely, that's perfect.
Okay, great. So and then that's going to also help people not trying to contact you directly, going, "Dude, save me one." Yeah. Tony.
Joe, can you save me one?
Cool. So, you've done a few things. You have several pedals, let's be honest, in the spirit of sharing your passion of Paul Kossoff, with the drives and everything. Can you first tell us, who Paul Kossoff is, for those who don't know, why you care, and what are the pedals that you've made associated with that?
Oh, so Paul Kossoff played for a band called Free. I mean, I think everyone would instantly recognize the song All Right Now. That's their big one.
Yeah.
But also not their best if you dig into their back album. And basically the story goes way back when I first started guitar, I happened across a live video of Free playing in the Granada Studios in Manchester, funnily enough. I won't hold that against them, Manchester. Anyway, so they were playing in Granada Studios in Manchester. And it looks to me like Paul's playing through Orange, oddly enough. But from the first chord he hits, it's that low mid-range rumble straight in your chest. And it changed the way that I think about guitar tones, literally forever. And I've been chasing that tone. And so the idea behind the Kossoff Drive was to try and get any Les Paul that I owned. I think at the time I had a white Les Paul custom. Any guitar that I owned, to get as close to that with a neutral sounding amp. Now that's pretty ambiguous and vague, but that was the idea behind it. But Free, as far as they go, people would also know Bad Company, which is Paul Rodgers' band after that. They're in the same era.
Yeah. I mean that song All Right Now is like one of the greatest rock and roll riffs ever. Just those first four. Or was it for no? Yeah. Anyway, first couple of chord, it's just like it's unmistakable, and it is like that is. If you looked, if you sent what does pure rock and roll sound like, and put it in a little like data thing and sent it into space, that's probably what they would have picked.
Yeah, or you could send it to AI and it would generate
1
million new versions.
Yes. So, anyways, I think that's very helpful in understanding exactly like, the whole Paul Kossoff thing. So, Joe, based on that, you've created more than one pedal, I believe, having to do with Joe Kossoff, right?
So the Kossoff Drive basically is using JFETs to get the overdrive sound. Now, I hate using the amp in a box, quote unquote, saying, but basically the JFET sound very, very amp-like. They clean up with your guitar's volume and they have that sort of dynamic response that an amp has. Now, what I found was there wasn't enough gain in there for myself. So I further developed it into adding my favorite effect on top, which is, of course, the Rangemaster. So a Rangemaster and a Kossoff Drive in the same box is kind of like, well, it's my ideal pedal.
Yes.
And one of my friends actually said to me, a Rangemaster and a Kossoff Drive, why don't you call it the Free Range? Free for Paul Kossoff and Range for Rangemaster. And
I didn't understand that. That's crazy. How did I not pick that up?
No one does. Everyone's like, "What? You like organic?" Like, no. What?
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, HB Guitars, the guy who, if he's listening, I know he listens to the show. He'll absolutely lose his mind that I've just said it on here. But he come up with it. He's like, I was like, what a great idea for the pedal, or a great pedal name, and that's how it come about basically. So that is my my all-in-one Koss pedal. And then, of course, because it's me and I get bored and nothing can be the same, I also got a lot of requests for delay pedals. So I made the Kossoff Delay, which is a Kossoff, so it's a Kossoff Drive and a delay in the same box. A four knob delay using the PT3, I forget what the chip is. Anyway, it's a digital chip, but it's got analog drive-through. So you don't have that weird time difference thing, and you can use it wet dry and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I made a couple of them. But the problem is, because I don't use PCB, the pedals have to be huge to fit them in. And so I only made a couple, and they did sell. But I always think, you're knocking the price up to ridiculous amounts in my view.
Yeah.
And also the pedal's huge. So who's going to fit that on a pedal board? Apart from me, of course. Yeah.
That is it really honestly is kind of a like, what the hell is this kind of a pedal? It's tall. It's much taller than one would expect, at least the box that I got.
Well, your one is a complete one-off. There isn't another one in that in that enclosure. That's an old power pack from the 60s.
Oh,
that
wild.
Stripped down and made that of. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I refine my layout. So I was actually talking about this today. Every single pedal builder that you've ever seen, if you take the back off the pedal, you can almost instantly tell who built the pedal by the wiring. And mine's changed so much over time that I think when you get your new fuzz pedal, you will not recognize the wiring inside compared to your free range pedal. It's a different beast. I would cringe seeing inside the older ones because it kind of looks.
I've
Oh,
shared
man.
that with so many people because I'm like, hey, you want to see something insane?
That's kind of like the inside of my head.
Yeah.
Connections going everywhere.
Honestly, I think I'm pretty sure I shared this on social, but if you happen to get one of the older Hello Sailor pedals, the first thing you'll say is like, how is this possibly working? Because it's just there's so many, especially from here, because you use a lot of new old stock military parts and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
bigger is always better.
It's bananas, but that's kind of the part of the magic too. It's like, the thing that you do is that you do you, and nobody else can do that. And that's, you do things a way that is special, and that makes, we love things that are like, this is mine and this is only mine. We like things that are just wild for the sake of being wild or the unexplained. And so when you get a combo of those two and they sound fantastic, you can't lose.
Oh, I'm very grateful that you're saying that. I mean, I just like to be individual. I can't stand the thought of anyone having something the exact same as me.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like the old guitars or H guitars, because it makes them unique, whereas it's not come off a factory. Well, it has come off a factory, but like it's not the same as any other one. It's got its own personality type thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Awesome.
Anyway,
so now I know it's not official, but based off of what you told us about the Kossoff drive and the guitar, what are your stylings for, like, if they said, hey, you want to do another one, what would that be?
Oh man, I've got so many ideas floating around. The problem is I don't want to infringe on anyone. Anyone that's got their own image. I'd love to do an Eric Clapton pedal, like a Beano treble booster that matched, like, a bass like his original bass with, the black humbucker and the cream humbucker of the 60s. I'd love to do that. But of course, Eric Clapton may not agree, and I don't want to tread on his toes. So it'd have to be it'd have to be someone that I could do that without upsetting the apple cart, as it were.
Yes.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not, you don't have to name a pedal. I mean, I think Andertons do like an inspired by range for things like Stratocasters and stuff. Yeah. You can get like a Blackie inspired Stratocaster. So maybe that's an option, but I don't know, we'll see. I really want to get into building some modulation. So I'd look maybe someone who used a lot of modulation, maybe chorus, and go down that route maybe.
There you go. Well, that should be good stuff to look forward to from you. What else? Now, you've obviously also been quite busy in media.
Yeah.
So tell us about, you've been on, so tell us about your reoccurring pedal, that pedal show and Anderton stuff, and then also your YouTube channel.
All right, so with that pedal show, I mean, they featured one of my range masters, and it kind of just blew up, because I think Dan and Mick, they are beautiful humans. First of all, they're just such nice people, but also on their show, their faces don't lie. So when they like something, they really can't hide the fact that they think something's good but mediocre type thing. And when they plugged in that range master and started changing guitars, it literally exploded for me. And then since then, my wife Haley, if you're listening, maybe not, but she's sick of my voice, so she probably not. She actually booked me on a that pedal show experience day as a gift for no longer going to see anymore, and we could plan our lives, which was fantastic. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried to get on one, but they are notoriously hard to book. Impossible, in fact. And then I went on the day. I built everyone that went on the same day as me a pedal with TPS Experience Day on and whatnot, because I just love building pedals. So I thought, why not share the love? And then the day went amazing, and I must have been a different person when I come home, because the next year, they're just gone now, actually, in May, she booked me on another one. I don't know how she managed to do that. So I got to go twice, which is a bit unfair to everyone who's been trying to book one for ages. I think the issue there is my wife is from the generation of people that don't remember not having a phone. So she's like 10 years younger than me. And so she's amazing at anything to do with, like, booking something on a phone. She'll be first in the queue because she knows all the tips and tricks. Whereas me, I couldn't even get the sound to work on this before we started the podcast, so I've been to that pedal show a few times, which has been insane. And then with the YouTube stuff, so I'm so used to working at a level at sea that is like, and another thing, and another thing. And while you're doing that thing, you need to complete another thing, and don't ever sit down type thing. And now I'm home all the time, no longer going to sea. And kind of sat around going, what do I do? So I missed the instructing on board and, developing people's knowledge engineering-wise on board the ship. And I thought, how can I translate that into guitar pedals, which I love? And so I started posting more on YouTube tutorials about modern pedals or building your own pedals. I'm actually just now filming how to build an Abbey Road fuzz, so people can follow along and build an Abbey Road fuzz yourselves. Why not? I've got nothing to hide. There's no secret tips and tricks that I won't show everyone. So that's going to be the next one. And it seems to be going down really well. People are engaging a lot and asking for more modifications and different stuff. So that's good. And then I moved on to podcasting. So how that come about is I've been saying for so long now that I'm going to start my own podcast, because I absolutely love coming on your podcast. And I was like, well, why can't I have that all the time? Let's do it. And, why not? I just need a concept.
Sure.
And so the first episode, oddly enough, goes live Monday at 9 o'clock UK time, if anyone's interested.
All right.
It'll be live on my YouTube channel. So the idea is I'm going to just post it as a live stream, unedited, so whatever happens, and then I put it out as a podcast. I've had a few complications this weekend, funnily enough, that I haven't told you guys about, or no one actually. I was meant to be starting it with a prominent pickup builder over here in the UK. I won't say his name. And he's having some legal trouble, so he can't mention a lot of the stuff that's happened with his pickup business in the past. So I completely shut that down, and I'm just going to go and do it myself. I spent a lot of time preparing what the show was going to be about, how we were going to go about it, and I was really down that I couldn't carry on with the show. And in the middle of the night, 2 nights ago, my wife said to me, "What are you stressing about? Everything that you've done in the guitar world has come good. Just do it yourself." And I thought, well, that's a brilliant idea. So before everyone's like, why are you starting yet another podcast? I feel like my podcast starts where your podcast leaves off. So your podcast introduces us all to these amazing builders, amazing people in the industry, and we find out their backgrounds, we find out what's going on with their products and stuff, and that's amazing. What I want to do is find out what's going on inside their products. So I want to talk to people and get them on and say, why did you choose 100 NF input cap here? What was your thinking behind that? Wow. And I want to break down circuits and maybe teach people how to do DIY projects, Like, for example, did you know that if you take your tube screw and a clone and clip out the diodes, you get much more headroom and a cleaner sound? It's a simple thing you can do with a pair of snips. Not many people know that. But little things like that, or break down my own pedals, or, discuss things on a component level. And that's pretty much the idea behind it.
I love it. I love that you're just doing it. I think it's one of the things that is, I think people have their own specific magnetism for certain things. Tony has his. Honestly, it's like we are drawn to certain people for certain reasons, and when you find that there's other people drawn to that same person, you typically realize that it's because of a specific characteristic about a person, or mostly that. And I think obviously people are drawn to your willingness to just put yourself out there and embrace whatever is happening, and you have a fearlessness about what you do that it's inspiring, and people can look at your stuff and it's like, no, they're not all perfect. They're not. You didn't spend a year trying to figure out exactly what the graphics were going to be for this run of pedals. You didn't send everything off to have somebody else do it, that's not knocking people that do that, because great things are made from that as well. But everything that you do is quite literally just pouring right out of you. There's no pretense to it, and it's honest. You get honest products, honest thinking, honest just impression of who you are through these things. So I really appreciate that about you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that actually alludes to why I couldn't go ahead with the podcast. It was originally going to be called Pickups and Pedals, or Pedals and Pickups, because we were going to discuss both pickups and pedals on the show. But for me, the whole idea behind this podcast is going to be buy-in from the live viewers. And I realized that for the first 100 shows, I'm going to be talking to myself on my computer with no live viewers whatsoever. And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But what I couldn't have was live viewers coming on and making comments that we couldn't answer and say, for legal reasons, we can't say. There's no way that I could have any shadowiness whatsoever. Sure. I want people to come along and heckle me, give me the difficult questions. I mean, if I had £1 for every time someone commented, why are you putting expensive vintage components into a Chinese pedal? It's pointless. I wouldn't even have to make pedals anymore. I'd be rich. And, funnily enough, I was speaking to a guy in the industry. I won't name drop because, why would I? Speaking to a guy in the industry, and they were saying about they got heckled by someone who said that their playing was terrible, and they basically picked up the whole thing that they put on the internet, saying the points that they'd gone wrong, and this guy was really down. He practiced guitar. He was going to confront the fella. And for me, when I get heckled, I just think, get in, I've made it. Someone took the time to heckle me. That's amazing. I've got a troll. I was like, honestly, I wanted to phone the guy up and high five him, like, thank you so much for being my first troll. Or, I love that. So if anyone's wanting to come and troll me, come on, bring it on.
Yeah, there you go. That's it is the mark that you've made it when you get somebody who's just like, I hate you so much that I have to tell you.
Yeah, but I think that's brilliant. So you hate me that much that you took the time to come and tell me how stupid my pedal mods are, which means that A, watch my video, thank you for the view, and B, you commented, thank you for the comment. It's amazing. But anyway, so in a rush, I rush redesigned the podcast because I told everyone I was going to go live at 9:00 on Monday evening. So I'm going live at 9:00 on Monday evening. Yeah. That's happened. I'm really weird like that. So if I say in my head, I wonder if I could do this, in my mind, I've committed to that now. So it has to happen. And that's probably how I've talked myself into using some of the components I have in the past. But it's going to be now called the Pedal Dive podcast, because I'm going to deep dive on pedals and effects. Also, if there's any listeners out there on your show who are in the guitar industry, who have a background of any engineering or build pedals or build anything, and they fancy being a co-host on my show, I'm looking for a co-host actively. If anyone thinks they can commit to every other week, and maybe, as I say, lead off from where you guys leave, you introduce the people and I'm going to break the stuff down. If anyone thinks they can keep up with that and also put up with my energy every other week, that'd be amazing. I'm actively looking for someone.
That's super cool. Well, you've got some great builders around you too. I mean, there's loads of people that I would want to actually have on the show, in and around where you are actually located. And I just have to. It's tough because we have to space those out on the calendar because we actually record where bands record, and so we have to work that out. But you have the luxury of being connected with some great builders over there.
Yeah, it's amazing. The industry's just gone insanely good at the minute. Although it has got hard. I mean, I can name maybe 4 or 5 companies that have or builders that have actually threw in the towel. In the last 6 months. It's crazy. So funny story. I actually in November, end of November, beginning of December, I actually turned down a promotion in work because I was leaving the Navy. I was like, no, I'm going to do this pedal thing full time. And then for the following month, I sold exactly no pedals the whole of December. Not a single, not a dicky bird. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Luckily enough, it turns out that my demographic is the people who buy stuff for people at Christmas, not the people who receive stuff. So it was just a Christmas thing. Well, I was like, oh man, I've put it all on black and it's come out red.
Oh man, well, I'm really excited that you're ready to jump into this because you have a great demeanor, and I know that people are gonna. I mean, look, the stuff that you've already put out on as of late, you've done loads of video stuff, and it's all interesting and it's all engaging, and it's one thing to say like I want to learn about this stuff, but I think it's fair to say that we continue to go back to those things that we like because we find that we're making a connection with the person behind the camera or mic. I mean, that's what it's about. That's why you do that, because at a certain point, just learning something isn't enough.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I probably said on your podcast before that my idol in the pedal building world for the longest time has been Brian Wampler. I mean, his pedal mods book, I think it's called How to Mod Effects Pedals, originally enough.
Right.
It's still available today. It's like £50. My wife bought me. It's amazing. But he basically said on a podcast somewhere, you're not trying to sell pedals to people. You're trying to make friends. Don't worry about anything else. Just make friends and put yourself out there, and then the customers will come. And that is the single best bit of advice that anyone's ever given me.
Yeah.
By proxy, he didn't actually give me that advice. I don't know. I've never met him. But what a great thing. And I've sort of gone down this pedal world adventure in that vein,
It's funny that you mentioned the thing about Brian, because after we had him on the show, very shortly after that, I saw him just kind of like in line for some food at NAMM in Tennessee, and and I came up and I was like, "Hey, Brian," blah, blah, and I think he thought like he was being assaulted. So, hey, no, Brian, you said make friends. I'm trying to. Yeah. Anyways.
I think I'd be like that Beatles fan from the 60s, just screaming, like unable to. Like, oh, by the way, I'm Joe.
Yeah.
That'd be me.
Indeed. Well, Joe, we're very, very excited for your continued success, and that the thing that you've decided to say, I'm going to put out there, regardless of what people are thinking about it, or if this is successful, in the mentality of like it will be, because of the things that you mentioned and who you are, and to see that continuing to just like grow and pick up new ways that you are reaching people and connecting with people is really, really exciting, and we wish the best for you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And
what?
If you want to see how nicely Joe has matured over the years, you can go back to episode number 144 from 2019.
Wow.
And episode number 208 from 2021.
Holy moly. This is going to be 378, I believe. Episode 378. All right, and with that, here comes number 3 something.
300 and change.
What do we call it?
It's a little segment we call Would You Rather?
Okay.
At this point, I've got to ask a question.
Yes.
And I feel like this is a question that almost every viewer probably has. Why haven't you recorded Jared singing that and just play it?
I know I should. And I've got 300 some odd recordings of that. and I could do that. There's a part of me, if I'm being brutally honest, it would make me sad.
Yeah.
Honestly, it
And
would.
not that Tony's singing voice is amazing, by the way. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, I resemble that remark.
Yeah. It would.
I'm making a pedal with that on now. Tony's singing voice is amazing.
Legitimately, and we get lots of feedback on this, direct messages and stuff is like, more Jared. It's like, yeah, we love Jared on the show, and his life has changed a little bit, and he's not as accessible anymore. But he was the first right hand man I had on the show, and part of that honestly would just kind of make me sad to have to actually press the button to hear him. And
yeah, I get that.
I would love to have him on the show more, and yeah. Anyways, that's where I'm at with that.
I think it takes something out of the spontaneity of the show. Just like when I do the reading of the names and such.
Yes.
Because I mess up things, and then people. I think they look forward to mistakes.
Then here, Tony, since when you have the scepter,
yes.
You know what? Do Would You Rather how you want to do Would You Rather, not how Jared's done Would You Rather. Do it however you want to do it, whatever that means.
I love the way it's done.
Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. If you want to, you can.
I'm going to change the name of the segment. How's that sound?
No. Okay, go for it.
This week's Would You Rather is brought to us by our good friend Plutone.
Plutone, new
executive producer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Plutone. We love you. Here's how it goes. You just nailed the gig of your dreams. Your manager booked you a gig at the local nursing home.
Wait, do you know what nursing homes are, Joe?
Yeah, we have nursing homes.
Okay, I didn't know if they were. I was like, sometimes things don't translate exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Oh no, that definitely translates.
Okay.
That's where my kids are putting me as soon as they can. I think.
Exactly. So you pack up your Mesa Boogie triple rectifier and 240 watt cab, because half your audience is probably deaf anyway, and your beloved blacked out ESP LTD Phoenix, and head to the shoe in quotation marks. On your way there, the van hits a nasty bump and you hear your equipment tumbling around in the back of the van. You already are running late, so you decide not to pull over and pray that everything is still in one piece. But when you arrive at the nursing home, you realize the back door of the van had opened and your precious ESP guitar was missing. Oh, no. You start panicking and tell the nursing home manager about the situation. He shares his condolences, but says, "You're in luck. 2 of our seniors have guitars that you can use." You immediately know that this is not going to end well, but you try to remain positive and ask the manager what guitars they are. He replies, "Well, Chester over there," as he points to a hunched-over, wiry man in a wheelchair, "has a 72 Les Paul Gold Top hollow body." I don't know if they made a hollow body in 72.
Well, anyways.
Well, okay. As amazed as you are to hear that Gramps has a $12,000 guitar, maybe more, sitting in a nursing home, you can only think about how absolutely terrible it is going to sound through your high-gain Mesa triple rec. So you ask, what's the other option? To which the manager replies, the other option is Archie's guitar, as he points to the rotund old man hooked up to an oxygen tank. Archie has an ESP LTD Phoenix. But your jaw drops, and he continues, but it's a lefty and a 7-string. So which one will you choose to use? Interesting. So we're gonna assume that 72 Gold Top has the it's not a hollow body. Mm-hmm. But
didn't they do a Les Paul signature sort of limited edition hollow? You know what I'm on about, the gold one, and he did a couple of. He did like 80 some bit.
Yeah,
there was like 80 of them made some bit.
That's right.
P90s, like P90s or like plasticky humbuckers.
They had some, like your bass, like the Jack Cassidy. Bass.
Yeah. That's the one.
For the record, that's I think the first time Tony's been wrong on the show.
I've never been
wrong.
Wow.
Yeah, Joe, you just out Tony'd.
Can I have that on a certificate to go on the fridge, please?
Yes, you get a special certificate.
I need that in my life. My mum would be like, "What are you doing, taking all the kids' pictures down?" Like, I'm having something on his fridge.
Clear some space. I got a certificate.
I've never been good in my life, so I've had nothing on his fridge. I'm having this.
Okay, so yes, now that makes perfect sense, because that was the hollow body with the kind of double cut but offset. Yes, I stand corrected. Hello, sailor.
Yes.
Sorry, mate.
So your choices are that, and those pickups in that guitar, if I remember right, were like low impedance, some weird Veritone switch on the guitar.
That's the one.
That's the one, and maybe I don't know. Would it sound bad through a triple rec? I don't know.
They're some of the best guitars Gibson ever made. They're going to be worth a fortune in the future. They've gone up to like $5,000 over here now. I'm rising.
Wow.
And if you can get a Sunburst one, there's only 80 of them in existence. So
that's
get
cool.
That's under the radar at the minute.
Don't
put this podcast out yet. Let me get some money together.
Buy a couple. And yeah,
I've got my eye on a few.
So choice one is the Les Paul Signature Gold Top hollow body, or choice two is an ESP Limited Phoenix Lefty 7-string. What's it gonna be?
And the whole gist is this has got to go into a Mesa dual rectifier.
Yeah, that's the only amp you brought,
right?
Because Archie and Chester don't have an amp. Okay. They're not allowed to.
All right, Tony, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go with the Les Paul Signature. I don't think that it. I mean, not that I don't think I've ever owned a triple rec. I've had a Mark IIc Boogie, which was pretty high gain, and it actually sounded good with just about any guitar that I put through it. Now, the triple rec's going to be a little more pretty high-end distortion all built into one, but I think with, twiddling some of the knobs, you can make that sound good. I mean, I'm not a left-handed guitar player nor a 7-string player. I can't do the other one.
Right.
So, no. Ixnay on the ESPA.
Yeah. Okay. Joe?
Oh, man, I'm definitely going to Gold Top. That's not even a question. I mean, it's going to sound terrible with me playing either way, so I might as well enjoy myself while I'm there.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on now.
I'm right there with you guys. I love Gold Tops and I love hollow bodies. So wait, this is a hollow or semi-hollow?
Well, technically it's a hollow body, like your bass.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
full hollow.
Yeah. It probably has a center block.
Hollow.
Yeah.
By full, I mean, so it's semi-hollow.
Yeah, semi-hollow.
Okay.
Yes.
Bang a fuzz into the front of that and get some feedback. That'd be amazing.
Heck yeah. I'm down with that.
I'll speak for Hex.
Yes.
Since he couldn't join us this late in the show, he's going to go.
He's
going to
go with the Phoenix. He's going to go with the
7-string lefty Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's have him do that.
Yeah.
He would still sound better than me playing it.
and I can vouch for that. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sending that through, Plutone. And Plutone is a shop, so go check it out on the interwebs. Plutone.
Plou.
Ploutone. That's right. I'm sorry. Okay. We need to thank a few people.
That is correct, Todd, because right now we thank a very special group of people. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive...
You want to be a producer?
Thank you, Todd, I think. Now, an executive producer makes this show possible. How do you become one? Very easy. Head over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate, become a friend, a sponsor, a hero, an all-around nice person of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts, and then automatically enters you for the fantastic, dare I say, giveaways that we've had and have had coming, or have coming, something like that. We have some more giveaways coming.
You're getting in the way of yourself. Go.
I know. I'm tripping over my own words. So, in addition to all that great stuff, and I mean great stuff, I mean really great stuff, you get one thing more. What would that be?
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to read these names for very special people. So special thanks to these executive producers: John Sebastian, Trevor Ellenberg, Cameron Pampas, James Bell, Eric Hemmer, Brett Hogarth, Gregory Randall, Don Kloss, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Rusty Sneed. What was that? See what I have to put up with? This is what I have to deal with.
I almost shot bubbly water out of my nose.
Oh, I was worried it was the other end. Woo. Okay. Rusty Sneeden, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Richard Kendall, James Pennington, James White, Justin Jones, John Esterly from Rare Effects, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchek, Ken Sayers, Darren Gregory, Tom Barazin, Michael Davenport, Eric Marrow, and Plutone, of course. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful Would You Rather.
Indeed.
But wait, Todd, there's more.
All right.
We have a special group of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs. These fine folks have a fez that they're required to wear upon their head whilst listening to the podcast. They are the creme de la creme, the A number ones, the top of the heap. And I'm going to thank them right now. So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs: Anthony Gemolero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robinson, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Hex Matos. He was just here.
Yes.
Now he's gone. Jack Cadian, James Pennington, John Williams, Jonathan Jerusik from 12th Hour Devices, LSJ Music Company, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Moon Guitars, Paul Von Eppinger, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, Tyler Rhines, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wham Pickups, and Pedro Vasquez.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Love all those names. Thank you, guys. All right, everybody. Joe, you got a lot of places to point to. Where do you want people to go to check out what you can do?
Okay, so the best place is hellosailoreffects.com. You can get to all of my socials and YouTube channel and stuff from from that website. I've just had it redone. Also, I'd like to take the time now, if you guys don't mind, probably going to overstep here, but I would like everyone who's listening to this podcast right now to message Guitar Knobs on Instagram or Facebook or whatever and come up with a type of pedal, either an overdrive, a treble boost, and what color it should be, and then also what artwork it should have on. And I'll let Todd and Tony pick the best one, and I'll make it, and then you guys can give it away on the show.
Oh, what? That's awesome.
Rather than doing the whole 20%, 15% off, I'm always up for the deal. If someone offers me 15% off a pedal, I'm taking it. So there's no point in me saying that. But that might be an interesting way to go about it. You can pick the best color, Please pick the nitrocellulose colors that I can actually find. Don't be saying Tahitian sunset because I'll, but sensible artwork, not unoffensive, and I'm more than happy to put it on the pedal.
Oh, that's
okay.
Very
So
cool.
let me clarify. Everybody's gonna send in what they want.
The pedal.
Then we're gonna
color,
say we
artwork.
think this one is the one, and then you're gonna make one of them, or you're going to make a series of them?
Just the one. It's going to be a one of a kind, and I'll send it to you guys, and you can give it away.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow, that's really fun. Super fun. Thank you, Joe. That's awesome.
I know what it is. I love all this.
Fantastic. And mention, so you got your podcast.
Oh, yeah. The podcast is going to go live on my YouTube channel at 2100, 9 o'clock in the evening, UK time. The more people that can come on and comment, I will literally hold nothing back. You can ask any question you like. Yeah.
There you go. And also Monday when you hear this, as soon as you hear this, you need to get over to his website to get one of the special guitars that we've been talking about,
Yes.
the Kossoff guitar
Those are going to be cool.
package.
That's amazing.
Okay. Now remember, there's only 10, so there's only 9. So don't delay. Okay. All right, Tony, where can people get your stuff?
Just head over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the stuff that I do, which is custom pick guards. If you don't know what you need, just shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do. If you want to change pickups, whatever. Material, just shoot me. Let me know what you need, what you're trying to do. I will take good care of you. It's your chance to make your guitar even more yours.
That's right. Coming on your new website pretty soon, isn't it?
Website? What's that?
Yeah. Anyways. Hey, everybody. Why don't you shoot me a DM on Instagram at Guitar Knobs? I'd love to hear from you. Whatever you want to share. If you have a would you rather, that's great too. And also, I do get a fair amount of people saying, hey, you should have this builder on. And I do take those into consideration. It doesn't always work out for all kinds of various reasons. But we definitely will, we don't know I'm constantly uncovering
Yes.
new people that I'm like, how did I not know that you were out there doing that? And I actually just this last week, I got 5 more that I'm like, it's just cool when you run into something, you're like, I don't know about this, so let's share it. So do that. Also, make sure when you're driving around and you need some good old fist pumping rock and roll.
Fist pump,
Yeah.
fist pump.
White knuckle that steering wheel. Throw in the Valentinos. How about that?
I love those guys.
Get in.
All right. We're going to say a humongous thank you to Joe for joining our show yet again.
Thanks for letting me get me hat trick.
Exactly. And for everyone else out there, have a fantastic guitar week and subscribe. Did you stuff your head into a shoebox? If you go into your sound settings on your computer, you should be able to adjust the mic volume.
Let's have a little look.
I don't know if you've worked with electronics before, but it's good to have friends in the world, you know?
I have friends.
Yes.
They're just not here.
Ooh. It's called the hammer, the heavy fuzz.
Heavy fuzz makes everything heavy fuzz. Oh, he's mad now.
He might be.
I love trash Anything dirty or filthy or dusty.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Is there a way I can turn? It doesn't sound like I'm from the UK at all.
Anything rotten or ragged or rusty.
Well, the thing is, I live down south now with my wife, and they're all really posh. And when I go home, everyone says to me, "Why are you talking posh? You don't sound like you're from Liverpool at all now."
Okay, can you fake a posh accent for us?
Let me see. How does my wife and kids speak? Pass me the glass, please.
Yes. Earl Grey or jasmine?
I just can't do it.
That's a trick question. Always Earl Grey.
Yes, I love trash.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Clem Fandango. Actually, really good. Let's keep it there.
I think we're good.
All right.
Nice.
Yes. Early morning coffee burp. Woof. Yes. That's me. That's terrible, Tony. and I was like, oh my God, you can't say that here.
Oh yeah, I forgot you guys don't like it, do you?
Oh. Now, who wouldn't like that? Tony?
Yes.
And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.